Smoke advisories are back as wildfires spread across Canada. Chicken and geese hatchings are down. An aircraft mechanic has an update on Boeing issues. Planes keep having issues out there. And conversations with ordinary Americans are yielding some surprising results. That and more on today's Poplar Report. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. These are your reports that you guys are sending in from all around the world and all across the United States. I do appreciate you guys sending it in, and you make this all possible. We do thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group, who sponsors these updates to remind us all that those who have retirement accounts, 401ks, IRAs, you do have options. You can get your money into more than just stocks and bonds, more than just annuities. You can actually get that into physical gold, physical silver, or other precious metals. If you have questions about that, there'll be a link at the end of the video for you to get some more information. Tara says the smoke advisories are back in Canada. So far, starting Monday, May 13th to Tuesday, May 14th, from British Columbia to the province of Ontario, there is smoke advisories. Now, there's smoke advisories across the Midwest of the United States as well, because a lot of smoke is blowing across the border down to the south. It seems like all sorts of bad stuff comes across the borders, doesn't it? We have, but we'll keep an eye on those wildfires because that is an early start to the season and it can get really, really bad. Serendipity says West Central Alabama, Sam's Club, no milk, no cream, a few eggs, very little beef, no ribeyes at all. The walk-in cooler just very sparse in all veggies and things like that. So we're having some issues with milk and eggs here in Pittsburgh. I just did a Walmart order and didn't get the eggs I wanted. So not saying there aren't other varieties of eggs out there, but you know, when they have a main kind of eggs, I wasn't going for some kind of off-brand, just getting some GV large eggs, but I tried to get the 36 pack and didn't work out because they don't have it in stock. So let me know if you guys are starting to see some issues with eggs in your area as well, or with dairy. CR7 says, this price increase is huge. I took my dog to the vets for his shots that were due. I usually get his nails trimmed while there. In February of this year, the fee was $15 for nail trimmings. It was $25 this time for the nail trim. My total bill for shots and nail trim, $364.89. Yikes, I am shocked by that price jump in just 2 months. Curious if anyone else is noticing the same. I volunteer at a local shelter. I can see why there are so many surrendered pets. It sure is a sad world. Take care, God bless. It's getting more expensive to keep your family members fed, and while you can't put up your kids for adoption very easily, people are more and more putting up pets for adoption because it's just getting so expensive, especially when it comes to veterinarian bills and such. Are you guys seeing that in your area? This is from an aircraft mechanic. Please keep me confidential. I have been an aircraft mechanic for 20 years, and I can tell you that corners are cut constantly. Many parts that Boeing has, or at least they were looking into the self-inspection system. Plus, to the best of my knowledge, inspection of parts produced overseas has minimum quality inspection and control. Plus, training given to new and experienced mechanics is minimal. Now, we've been hearing that officially out there already that there were parts getting into the supply chain that were not being inspected properly, and that was a problem because they just didn't have enough parts, and so they were just kind of desperately trying to find parts out there. And because of that, some parts got into the supply chains that they shouldn't have, and it was causing problems. And then they had a hard time tracking down all those parts that were not approved by Boeing and that were not up to proper standards. So we have that, and then we have Boeing out there just cutting corners like nobody's business. There have been whistleblowers that keep disappearing because because that's what whistleblowers do. They disappear, don't they? Well, when it comes to Boeing and when it comes to the Clintons, yes, they do. ZQ5 says eggs. It's not just chickens hatching fewer eggs. The Canadian geese population in Ohio is routinely hatching only one babe per normally they lay a bunch, right? There's something rotten in Denmark, which is a saying. And I haven't really heard that saying very much, but yep, Google says it's a saying. So I was like, why are we talking about Denmark? You guys probably are more familiar with that. I don't know. Jeannie says, Northwest Florida. Was in Aldi's and a big box store last week. Talked with several people about the need to check the boneless, skinless chicken to determine if it was hatched, raised, and butchered in America. First was a middle-aged couple. They stated they had not heard of lab meat and had no idea what I was talking about. They looked at me like I had 3 heads. It's funny. People aren't paying attention, you know. The next was a young man who was stocking the chicken in a big box store. He also had not heard of lab meat. He had actually heard of putting bugs in our food, but not lab meat. He wanted to know all about it and was disgusted when I explained it briefly. He swore he would never eat it. It's pretty astounding how totally uninformed most of the population is about any of the issues and problems in our food system. This is why it will happen with nary a cry of protest. No one knows it's happening. I suppose if you aren't listening to radio, if you are only listening to radio or TV news, you never hear a whisper of reality. Friends, that's just so true. That all this is going on out there and no one's paying attention to it. I mean, you need to be watching the kind of beef you get because you gotta be careful because they're slipping all sorts of stuff in there and they're just hoping nobody will notice. Now, here on this channel and some other channels on YouTube, we're out there blowing the whistle on this stuff and saying, hey, this is what's happening and warning you about it, right? It's a good idea to get stocked up now with freeze-dried beef like prepper beef. Or they have a sale going on right now. You know, I'm a big fan of Keystone meats as well. Get fresh meat as best you can and freeze it or dehydrate it yourself. Whatever you can do to get stocked up. But that's just some stuff that you need to be doing because they don't want us eating meat in the future. And future you and future you family want to be eating meat, you're going to need to take some steps now. David says Woolworths, Australia, that's one of their stores there, are having issues with food transportation. Shelves are empty in many supermarkets, especially in the state of Queensland. It's not just the United States, friends. Over in Australia, they're having issues with transportation, supply chain. Why does it just seem like we can't get food on shelves of stores anymore? Go back 20, 30 years, and this wasn't a problem at all. They knew how to get it right there. They didn't have the computer systems, and yet somehow everything showed up on the store shelves, you know? Charles says Novolog insulin out of stock at Walgreens and every other pharmacy that I have tried in eastern New York and southern Vermont. Same for other types of insulin that I might be able to use. I got one vial a few days ago and Walgreens told me not to expect any more. No pens available either. Seeing my endo doctor tomorrow, but as of right now, I don't have much hope. And we shared on this channel that apparently they're using a lot of this insulin to grow the lab-grown meat. They need lots and lots of insulin in order to do that. And some of you guys asked the question, like, does that mean that that the meat has a lot of insulin in it? Like, is that going to mean that it's going to be messing up people's insulin and chemicals in their body by eating that meat? Like, it could be, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. That's a serious question. Chime in if you guys have any information on that, whether all the insulin that's used to grow the lab-grown meat passes on to people and might cause the meat to be even worse for you. The meat, right? The lab-grown stuff. Arl says, a neighbor just informed me the local CVS pharmacy in St. Petersburg, Florida, the one that's about a mile away from me, is not dishing out any prescriptions. Their computer systems are down, the Minute Clinic, and they cannot process any orders also. This might not be a big deal for a lot of people, but my neighbor is elderly and doesn't drive, so she depends on neighbors to help her or expensive taxis or Ubers. And now I looked it up. I did not see anything in the news out there about a CVS hack or CVS having computer problems across the country. So it looks like it might just be a local issue, but maybe just that store. But we will keep an eye on that. If anyone else is having issues at CVS, please let us know through the updates. Use the word update once again on a comment on this channel. Any one of the videos on this channel that gets it to the right place. Give us some sort of geographical location if you can about that or about anything else you're seeing in your area. Josh says, Excelsior Springs, Missouri. The Aldi here has almost nothing in the cooler on the floor section. I had seen this before a couple weeks ago and thought they were stocking, but it's empty again. The aisle with condiments are faced to take up space, and a few of them very different products. The milk has been hit or miss, and of course prices have been spiking the last couple weeks. So a lot of important updates happening out there from you guys from all over. Let's keep an eye on what's going on. Let us know what you're missing. Let us know what you're hearing at your workplaces, things that are going wrong out there, and we try to keep our community as on the cutting edge of being informed as possible. Thanks so much for joining with us. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, there's a link right there. If you want to check out another video from this channel, there's one right up here. I'll pin the deal with prepper beef out there if you want to get freeze-dried beef that is clean and doesn't have antibiotics and all that kind of stuff like that. That's down in the pinned comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.